This one is super quick, but I'll let you guys put through any comments you want out there. We just get to meet the Foundation ambassador that is here on Trantor. That is Ambassador Quent. And there's just like a back and forth. She's kind of offended that Day himself wasn't here. And then she drops the accolade that this Dusk is going to get, which is the Conciliator. And then they talk about the mule for the fifth or sixth time this episode, just of what he was doing.
The Conciliator, that's quite the title. For all
Yeah.
of my Game of Thrones fans out there, that's Jaehaerys the First, baby. That's Viserys's grandfather, the old king, the OG, one of the greatest Targaryen kings, if you ask the small folk, I believe. So that's quite the title, and it also makes me think that how much of an influence on Day does that have, in where the Conciliator, to me, kind of speaks about kind of pacifying things, making things run kind of smoothly. There's not like all the tension. There's not war, all those things. So is Day growing up kind of in a world or in a situation where like it's chilling, like we're all good. He doesn't have a ton of responsibilities, so he's free to be a poet, experiment with drugs and all of that stuff. And then that downwind of him acting like that then creates a situation for Dawn to have to kind of step up and be a big dog. So the Cleon stuff is always just so interesting to think about, like how much is it their genetic stuff, how much is it the environment that they're raised in. It seems like it's more and more showing us kind of an environment thing, especially with the way that Demerzel talked at season 2 with her classic line of, and I'm paraphrasing here, calling him a sperm and then dipping, where she basically said, you're a lost cause to Cleon the 17th. I was gone so much when you were younger, and that's why you suck ass, basically. So it feels like it's somewhat confirmed. And like Luke said, there's so many different scenarios they can put the Cleons in that are interesting, that they can grow in different ways, they can be different people, and then that has downstream effects and so on and so forth. So, I mean, we're on season 3 and I'm not really sick of it. It's always a little bit sad to say goodbye to a group of Cleons at the end of a season, and then it pretty much quickly gets wiped away when we immediately get introduced to new ones. And it's like, okay, these guys are fucking interesting. What's good with
We're
these
gotta
two?
be what at like Cleon like 22-ish now. A little bit more of a gap than we got from the 14 to 17 in between season 1 and 2, because that was 130 years. Now we're at 150 years. So you can call it Cleon like 21, 22 is what we're probably looking at here, unless some accidents happened. Pass it over to you, Jimmy. Anything else you want to add for what we didn't already cover with our hippie version of Day, who's smoking that good, hanging out with courtesans, chilling with camels and goats and ferrets, just living his best life. And then even when he gets called to court and to the throne room by Demerzel to talk about the 4-month timeline that you just laid out there before the Dark Ages start, he's just kind of like, F this. But then he gets pulled back in because he actually seems to care a tiny bit about what Dawn thinks of him. It almost seemed like, because Dawn was the one that really reeled him in. But that's my only comment besides what we've already talked about. This guy's cool as hell.
Going all the way back to one of our older days in the first season, I believe it was. Was it the beginning of season 2 when Day explains to Azura how he's the father to Dawn and he feels things for his son. They're brothers, but he's also the father figure. He raises Dawn as Dusk raised him. So it makes sense that Dawn's opinion of him should matter.
It's a good
You can
callback.
see how Dusk's opinion may not, because it's the whole father thing, like, I don't care what my dad thinks, but your son, like, because Day is very much so, even though he's supposed to be the middle one, he is like a teenager right now, it seems like. So the
Yeah.
rebellion against your father may be a thing, but being the person that raised Dawn, and again, Kyle, to your point, was he there to raise Dawn? Did this change big time happen for him where he was a committed Day and he actually was about Empire at all times and was a great father figure and Empire for the Empire? Or was he always kind of deficient and not around and not caring and a little rebellious? So we'll have to find some more information out. And I almost don't even know if how big of a deal this Day is going to be for what Empire as a storyline is going to do. I could see him being more rogue and rebellious and having his own storyline separate.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a character. I feel like we could be set up here for he's a free
A return to
spirit,
form.
but something's gonna force him. I could see maybe even Dawn dying or something, and just something is gonna like necessitate him having power again, being looked up to for something. I could see that being a thing. He's just a very interesting guy. It is too kind of, will we get information on why he is this way? Is it Buddy
Right.
goes to college and does shrooms for the first time? Or is this kind of how he's always been? What
Right.
is going on here? What is with that 6-month thing? Is it just with this one with Song it's been 6 months, or is it, and he's been doing this for a long time, or is it this way he's acting is, has actually only been happening within this 6 months? I don't know. He's a character
Okay.
though, man. I laughed out loud when he walked in and saw Dawn and said, "Hey, handsome."
I left.
I thought that was so good.
I was laughing out loud when Dosk was freaking out. He's like, "What the hell is that?" And then he's like, "It's a camel, whatever it is." He's just
Yeah.
like, just
Took it from the
clone a
genetic
camel.
pool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, he said
Parrot.
too. He said, "Our navel-less orphan,
Yeah.
just like us." So he literally mentions that it has no belly button.
I love it. I love it.
It was almost like, obviously not possible due to the time constraints, but it almost felt like they had listened to our coverage.
That
and
was
then
a
wrote this
post-production
episode.
ad. Yeah.
Kind of with like the mule parentage shout a little bit,
Yep.
where it was like, did I hear that correctly? And then he literally mentions out loud that they don't have belly buttons, and it was like they knew Jimmy has been on watch for that for 2 seasons.
I love
Kyle
that.
XY.
Wait a second, I just got an email saying that we're getting royalties, dude.
Oh,
No,
Found these
nice.
writing
season
credits.
3 there.
Writing credits. I
Writing
love it.
credits.